You don't need to tell me to remember Tim Pete. Hi, I'm Nick Bow. Welcome to Back Pocket Somewhat Daily Backup for Monday. What is the date?
The 7th of September.
Smooth, because I was looking at the template and for this, and it said Monday the 24th of August, and I went into a blind panic.
It's that
Angus Porn Nick Ronald. Have we
I'm
got a better name for you yet?
I'm not sure about that. I think Pete's really embraced Woodsman, but I'm not sure if I can really start putting Porn Nick on my my Twitter handle or anything like that. So I still want to develop this.
No, I think that's a terrible idea. Apparently, I have echo.
Really?
Yep. I don't know what to do about that, but someone could do something about that.
We'll see how we go.
There you go.
My mic's working this time, so
Gus sounds like he's talking into a can.
Wait.
Yeah, it's just been one of those mornings, I think.
It really has. My camera's been iffy. It's a Monday that's just showing that this week's going to be just great. Everything's going to be all downhill from here.
No, it's fine. We're getting all the bad shit out of the way early.
Yeah.
Gus Tuft Titties Ronald. Tuft. Oh, I get it.
These new names?
Yeah.
No, this is not an open forum to come up with a new nickname for me. I'm terribly sorry.
That is actually funny. No, it should be, but it should be a nice one because we've got, well, I don't have one yet, but Steph has Lady Laphand.
That's delightful.
And Pete is the Woodsman, which also works.
Again, I feel like just because he's in the mountains and occasionally wears flannel, he gets that, but I really could have had that nickname myself anyway.
If you look, I don't know too many woodsmen who have a baseball cap plastered onto their head, but
Goose Ghost Recon Ronald.
How do we feel about Skater Boy, BOY, and an 8-inch skater?
I love it.
Yeah.
That perfectly taps into my retro nostalgia. Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you had a good Father's Day if you're a father. Hope you had a good Father's Day if you're a child. Hope you just had a good Father's Day. And hope you had a lovely weekend. We are here for another round of news. And, I mean, interestingly enough, a lot of the news we actually spoke about on the secret backers-only post-show.
Which isn't usually what that's for, but, it just happened to be the perfect timing for it, so...
That post show, we all know what that post show is actually for. Mm-hmm. And instead, it just turned into halfway through, we went, hey, let's watch the Nintendo Direct. And so we did. But Angus, if you were to want a post show, how would you go about that?
If I was to what? Want a post show?
Okay, the echo's coming because Gus's speakers are bleeding into...
We're just getting a word.
Apparently, I'm bleeding into your mic. Which makes no sense whatsoever because I've got no speakers.
Yeah.
Through your mic as well.
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
Yeah,
your TV? Have you got your TV speakers got on?
It's only coming through my cans, so it can't be me, and I heard it too.
Pete, you? Wait, Pete, someone say something. No, oh my God, it's so weird.
It's not you?
It's not. No, it's not me.
Mute Gus for a moment. I'm just going to mute Gus.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk for a bit. This is just one of those things, I suppose. Yeah, I can't hear it at all. Yeah, it's totally Gus. Oh, wait, I hear me. All right, well, this is just fascinating for the viewer. Yep, that's good. We're good. Leave it like that. Okay.
Have I been unmuted?
Gus,
I unmuted you, Gus, but there's definitely some bleed in your setup.
Is Gus, and while and this is so not what the news is for, but are you using the headset microphone as opposed to your nice microphone?
I am not. I mean, maybe there's a cheeky webcam. Oh, he's so right. Things got unplugged and plugged back in. That's why. It's me again. I can't do one of these newses without fucking something up, can I?
It's okay. It's okay. You do so much other stuff.
Thank you.
That it's okay to just to have these moments. So
Pete taught me through how to switch up my vMix again. Nick, filibuster.
Okay, I'm just going to talk for a second. I got to talk while I hear other people talk in my ear, but I hope you had a good time, everybody, over the weekend. Let me tell you about what I did, because I went to the country and I enjoyed myself some children. We ate some children in the country. No, I went to the country, saw my nieces and nephews, took our kids, had a lovely time away, and now I'm back at work, trapped in the same room that I seem to be trapped in for this entire year. Are you trapped? Do you feel trapped? Everyone in Melbourne apparently feels very trapped, and I'm very sorry to hear about that. Here's what I'm excited about. Tomorrow I'm going to be recording a first play of, I believe it will be Paradise Killer, which I'm very excited about, which could turn into a whole Zero Time Dilemma thing. Now we're living the good life in Frio, says Frio Lasac. Friel Sack. You named your username after where you live. Nick, I blame you for how trapped Melbourne jail. What's it like being able to move more than 5 kilometers? It's glorious. Here's the thing, though. I have not moved. I mean, I guess I go to the studio. Except for the studio, yesterday was the first time I've done that in a very long time.
Better?
Oh.
I came back. I've been on. Pete's talked me through it. Hopefully I sound better.
I think we're good. I don't hear anything. Everyone loves it. Better.
Everyone's happy? Oh, okay.
There you go.
Mondays, hey? Fucking hell. Oh, dear. All right. Thank you so much, Pete. Appreciate it.
All right. Let's stop filibustering and let's get into the news.
Sounds
Angus,
good.
I had a bunch of nice things to say about like our weekends and shit, but no more.
No.
Let's jump into story number 1.
Which is nice and happy and fluffy as well.
Yes, it is nice and happy and fluffy. And I'll tell you what else is nice and happy and fluffy. Tim from the Learn Programming Academy. I don't know if he's happy, but I know he's definitely fluffy because he has a bit of a beard. The Somewhat Daily Backup is brought to you by Hero Pocketeer Tim from the Learn Programming Academy. Tim has taught nearly 1 million students with his courses. What have you done in your life that is close to 1 million of anything? All these tutorials are video-based, so you don't need to read, although, Angus, I would say that reading seems like a prerequisite to be able to code properly.
Look, it makes sense. I mean, it'll probably, if anything, improve your coding. Reading his... there's the PDF there. You can a link. You can go directly to that one as well. I'm sure that has some words that are spelt with letters, but the majority of it being video is very helpful.
Very helpful indeed. The videos are all easy to watch. You can be at any skill level, any caters for you, and you can even watch them offline on your phone, which I assume is because he programmed it that way. And you could learn how to watch things offline, anything you want on your phone, I assume, by watching one of his tutorials. I don't promise that. But what I do promise, Tim and his courses, very cheap. Most courses are like $20 or less. For $20 or less, you could learn how to put something offline on your phone. And you don't know how to do that now. So for $20 or less, you could become a programmer. Even if you can't read, Tim doesn't promise that, but that is a Nick Boy guarantee.
That's like and programming something off your phone is like the least interesting thing. So just think of the cool shit you can do as well.
Exactly. Come on. You could make a better version of Marvel's Avengers. All right, let's jump into the news. I'll talk more about that on Thursday. The first story we are kicking off our evening with is the Nintendo is it Mario's 35th
Mario's
anniversary?
35th anniversary, because the first Mario game came out in 1985, also the year I was born. So yeah, we're now looking at 35 years of Mario since the first one on the NES. And now they're celebrating in style with the Super Mario 3D All-Stars pack, which I am bloody thrilled about, to be honest.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited for you. So this from Polygon, a surprise Nintendo Direct celebrating the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. 1985. Launch premiered Thursday night Australia time. Leading the celebration is Super Mario 3D All Stars, an anthology of optimized versions of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy for Nintendo Switch. There will be a limited run of Super Mario 3D All Stars starting with September 18th launch and ending March 31st, 2021. An enhanced version of Super Mario 3D World is also coming. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury will involve cooperative multiplayer gameplay, and there will be a couple of amiibos going along with that. And there's also the Super Mario Brothers Battle Royale called Super Mario Bros. 35, in which 35 players will compete across the game's levels to be the last person standing. Angus, let's start at the top of this, which you teased, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Yep.
You are pumped for this.
Look, as you even said, though, like, it's waning. Like, the initial excitement was there. It was like, of course, I've been waiting for this to be announced. It's been rumored for a while now, and Mario gets celebrated every 5 years, I think. At the 30th anniversary, they did, like, Mario Maker on the Wii U. The 25th anniversary was the Mario All-Stars original 2D set on the Wii. So So yeah, it comes in Vives, and then everyone's been saying it's like we're well overdue for a Switch port of a couple of the 3D games. So yeah, straight away the convenience of having these great Mario games on a Switch is super exciting. Optimized to an extent. I think a couple of the issues straight off the bat is that Mario 64 is still going to be in 4:3, the original square boxing, not in widescreen. So you're going to have black bars down the side on the Switch, which
and you've already got black bars down the side on your Switch anyway.
Yeah, so it feels already like, you know, they said there's some minor texture upgrades, some stuff like that. But and I think running at 30 FPS, not 60, which is strange. I'd have to double check that one.
But if it was running at 60, would that not change the feel of how Mario 64 feels?
It could. The kind of momentum and speed and inertia and that kind of stuff could feel a little different. So look, I'm happy it's there. Mario Sunshine and Galaxy, I never finished 100%, so I'm really stoked to have them, but I played a lot of them. Mario Galaxy 2 was the one I really loved, and I have questions about why that's not here. Because as well, in that Nintendo Direct, no talk about Mario Galaxy 2, whether they're going to bundle that for a whole nother thing in the future. Because then when they played their little video of the recap of all the Mario games, they're like, at the end of it, they're like, let's take a look at all the things Mario has done. And they showed everything, but they just left off Galaxy 2 in that little homage at the end. So whether or not that's because they've got plans for it.
Oh, they left it off in the here's everything Mario's done.
It was strange,
right.
Just so they didn't... Well, that would have been like almost the most recent one. So look, in that sense, I'm just very happy these games are coming out. But again, I think like whether or not I'm going to play all three of them to completion, whether or not I just want them for nostalgia's sake, I'm going to have to now because they've got this limited run, which I find is very sneaky of Nintendo. It's just I feel like it's one of those things they've put in to incentivize people who go like, oh, I really wanted that, but I just wanted to see it released. And now that it's out, I know I could have it at any time. They're trying to light the fire under those people and say, no, you got to go get it now.
That's a good take on that, because I had thought that it's either going to be because they're trying to juice their sort of sales numbers in this short window where they go, well, you have to buy it because otherwise you won't be able to. But then also they're definitely going to sell this probably in pieces or do something.
Totally.
Like, so the All-Stars version is the only version you can get. But I hadn't thought about that of going, I guess people like me, where I look at this and I go, oh yeah, cool. Like that's nice that this is out, and then not actually get it. But then a part of me will go, but after March
I have to
next year, I'll never
they're going to
be
do
able to buy it.
what Disney does with their films and basically be like, we're going to keep them all and we're going to release them in limited runs on DVD or release. Well, they did up until Disney Plus. So it was like that thing of like, oh, you could only go and get this. The vault. They're vaulting it. So look, I find that a little sneaky, but it is going to make me go and get a box copy, I think, just because I don't trust that game's on as not as a service, but whether or not they strip it out of the store one day or something like that. Also,
you'll be able to sell that box copy in after March next year and actually make a profit.
That's true. And then also, like, the price point is coming in at like almost a regular priced game for all three, which is, I don't know, I find it a bit much for considering that they're not doing an entire rework. A lot of people were speculating Mario 64 was going to get more than just like a slight port, that it was going to get a new coat of paint, that kind of thing. So, look, it's definitely one that it's going to have to go on my Switch just out of duty to Mario, so I think. But
and isn't that a great reason to do anything out of duty?
Just pure servitude to a giant company that you feel you have to do that with. And then obviously Mario 3D World, which was the Wii U game, which
before you get onto that, I also am disappointed that they didn't do the sort of remake style thing. I guess that Mario 64 has been on so many different platforms, and particularly, I feel like Mario 64 is probably the one that would benefit from the most. I'm fine with Sunshine not getting that, but I feel like one of these should have had, and we're doing a full new thing to be able to introduce it to a whole new generation of players in a really proper way. And also with Galaxy, like, I would have done it to Galaxy because I like Mario 64, but I didn't have a Nintendo when I was a kid, so I only played it at friends' houses, so I don't really have that adoration and affection for it, but I did love Mario Galaxy. I finished Mario Galaxy. I've replayed Mario Galaxy. The other issue with this is that they've issued a statement about the motion controls, because obviously Mario Galaxy, part of it was like wagging around the Wii thing to collect all the stars and stuff,
sprites and all that stuff.
And it said that they released a thing specifically for people who have a Switch Lite. I have a Switch Lite. I also have an original Switch, but it's in a cupboard somewhere. that says detached Joy-Cons are required and sold separately to enjoy the game's motion features. So that's for the waggle. But they then clarified and said Super Mario Galaxy is supported in TV, tabletop, and handheld modes.
Is that the by M&M's?
That's the M&M's alarm.
Yay!
And we actually need to do that today.
We do.
In TV and tabletop modes, motion controls are required for pointer functionality. So I don't know if that means that when you play it in handheld mode, does it just auto collect that stuff, which actually would be the best version of what that is?
I saw somewhere that they're going to use the touchscreen, I believe, for some of that as well, because you forget the Switch has, and does the light's still a touchscreen, right?
That's annoying. The light, yes, yeah.
So I think that might be a way to alleviate the idea that you need to grab sort of items off screen, that kind of thing. That was one of the things that I didn't love about Galaxy, for how much of a perfect game it is, that it had that extra element of like, you had to pick up things off screen, and it was like user buddy mode. I think they've said with the Pro controller, that will still require motion control, so you might need to still like shake the controller to blast through those star portals, things like that, which I'm okay with, because that's how I want to play that game, is with a Pro controller on my big TV. So yeah, but it is messy already, isn't it, with that game, because it's just like it was purpose built for the Wii, and you've got all these variations. The Switch is so flexible because it has so many, ways you can use it, but it does boggle the mind when you sit down and think, okay, I want to play this, I got to undock these, I've got to put it in table mode, and you're right, the light then kind of puts the brakes on a few of those ways to play it. So God forbid you have to play with a light and an extra Joy-Con next to it. Like that's just starting to butcher the way that thing was designed, I feel.
Totally, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they fix that. But I think I will enjoy you playing this game from afar.
And what you said about the graphics, funnily enough, I feel like from Sunshine up, the Mario aesthetic and the art style has just been like ageless. I feel like looking at Sunshine now, it kind of looks like what I think Odyssey looks like until I look at both of them. So I feel like
Sunshine looks good.
It really does. And then the Galaxy games from there onwards, like it just feels like they got the tone right artistically. Whereas 64 does have that beautiful little blocky Mario. And whether or not they made the decision not to fully give it a new coat of paint because people have such a nostalgia for that game, it's played like it is so. Like, it is kind of ageless in its art style, but people do all the speed runs of it. People go back and just replay it like crazy. It's kind of charming in its simplicity. So I get that, but I also just, as I said, I would have loved to seen maybe one of those. I mean, you've got things like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, Spyro, other games out there, other companies have come in and done the new coat of paint thing, and it's just had such a good response. Why there isn't that version that you could play? You could switch between the blocky one or the Odyssey engine version. I don't know. Like, it would have been more work. But yeah,
it might be a power issue as well with the Switch of being able to do that, because like when you're doing that, like, I mean, I don't know how games are made, but I feel like that you're kind of running two versions of the game at once and switching between them or something.
But it doesn't have to be a fly-by-fly kind of thing. But
particularly because I feel like there's a bunch of kids who've never played Mario 64 who might not want to play it because it looks like I think it looks crap. I think the design looks good, and I remember how awesome it was when it came out. But if you compare it to Odyssey now, you just go, well, if I just finished playing Odyssey as a 12-year-old and then went, I can play Super Mario 64, and I look at it, I go, oh, that doesn't look great. I feel like nostalgia is going to hit a point where everyone who has nostalgia, but then I guess those kids don't have credit cards, and so the people who do have the credit cards still have the nostalgia, and so therefore will buy it.
That is true.
Super Mario 3D World.
I never actually played this one again to completion. So I've played the first 6 hours of so many Mario games and then just gone like, oh, okay, I'll put them down. So for the diehard fanboy I say I am, I'm just a massive fraud. But this one had like a mixed to good response because the emphasis was on co-op. It had 4-player. And it had this slightly more isometric look to it, which was super charming and I think played really, really well. And some people have said that's like one of the best Mario experiences they've had, playing 4-player cooperatively. Because I think this, far more than the previous Mario side-scrolling co-op games, you could work together a little better. Those side-scrolling ones were just more about the chaos, I think. So, and that's great for this one because, as you said before, or the Polygon article wrote, it's going to have online and local. So, but the emphasis on the online there. So, you're going to be able to play this with 3 other friends online. And look, as I said, it's so bloody charming. And then they've announced as well that they're going to add this mysterious Bowser's Fury, which we joked about.
Fury.
I know.
All right. I was like, we really need to get you checked out.
Which is, they showed at the end of this trailer, which looks very sinister, I guess is the one way to put it. But nice to see that they're going to add something extra to it, which looks, as I said, sinister, maybe a bit more difficult, a bit more punishing, which we're seeing here now. But that's great as well to have something extra. Really strange that we're seeing an add-on to a game from the Wii U. Like, this is DLC from that, yet we're not seeing anything for, like, Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that's their new game. Why have they added new worlds to Odyssey? They've gone, no, we're going to really lean into this. But I feel like that is, again, because of that multiplayer aspect to this, which Odyssey doesn't have. And maybe they're trying to draw more people to that online service. I know I've lapsed with it. And this could be the game that, you know, they try and get a lot of people in to restart their Nintendo subscription. So who knows?
Yeah. I like this one because I played bits of 3D World, but I very much enjoyed it. And I know a lot of people love it. And yeah, Bowser's Fury, cooperative multiplayer, maybe, I don't know. They haven't announced too much about it. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It is weird that they went, you know what? 2013, that's the game that we should add some DLC to.
And again, just weird that it's, as I joked about Furry, but they are all in cat suits. So I'm just saying.
There you go. No, Mario is a fucking freak. All right, Super Mario 3D Brothers Battle Royale. It's here. They did it with Tetris. They're doing it with Mario 35, Super Mario Brothers 35.
That's brilliant. I mean, Tetris Battle Royale sounded stupid in concept and was brilliant in execution. So I feel like they're probably onto a winner here. The idea being, I think that you're all playing the same first level, but you're having an impact depending on how well you're playing on other people's screens. Like we're seeing here, we're throwing, for enemies you defeat, they get randomly allocated to other people's screens. Did you play much of the Tetris Battle Royale?
Yeah, I played a bit. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but it really tapped into my anxiety. Like it made what I like about Tetris far more about competition and stress than I usually play it quite sort of in a relaxing state. So I feel the same thing here with Mario. But again, I'm assuming this is another one of those free ones if you have Switch Online. I haven't read anywhere that, but I'm just assuming as much.
It's a digital-only game exclusive to Nintendo Switch Online on October 1st, 2020, and it will also only be playable until March 31st, 2021.
Oh,
so not only can you not play it or get it after that, it's you could stop playing it. Why? What is? I guess I can't argue with Nintendo because they are still making games. They are still massively successful, making money hand over fist, despite everything that's happened in a very tumultuous history of that company. But I am so fucking against this idea of timed exclusives for digital games. It's just ridiculous.
I like that you said that, like, you're also okay with the Nintendo doing this because of all companies, they are stubborn as fuck. Like, they will put their foot down and say, like, we're going to charge this much for an old game. We will give you the game when you're ready. And there's almost, as I said, that Nintendo servitude from before. It's like, yes, master, I'll do what like.
Oh, totally.
Because your product is so good in the end. You're the Apple kind of equivalent in that sense that you go, like, you will play what we give you and we take it away now.
Yeah, you will play what we give you and you will kiss the ring to say thank you that we let you do it. There's a real. I mean, maybe they know they're capitalizing BDE from Nintendo.
They want to make it an event style thing because they're capitalizing on the idea that this is that anniversary, and whether or not that just means it goes away and comes back later. But yeah, it doesn't leave a great taste in the mouth.
Yeah. Does not. Something that may leave a great taste in the mouth, probably not. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit.
Yeah, this is brilliant, wasn't it? Like, it caught a lot of people off guard because it's, again, Nintendo leading into the physical aspect of their game, similar to a Labo, but with a far more high-tech take on it. A real-life Mario Kart toy that you control with your Switch that you race around your living room or your allocated course with an AR display pumped out of the camera on top of it. So there's a really ambitious idea. You've got to give them credit.
I mean, this is a huge step up from Labo.
From Labo.
I feel like there is a... this is going to be really annoying as a parent because it's just going to be like it's expensive and you're going to have to buy multiple for the kids and you need a huge amount of open space to be able to play this and there's going to be fights, but I think in theory it's a cool thing.
It is. It is. Look, this bit in the trailer here, I went back and watched. So I was wondering how they build these really cute-looking courses. Like, first of all, you need a perfect living room, like the trailer. But if you see here, it is all dictated by those gates that get placed down. So it's not as straight. Like, there's little extra wiggles and loop-the-loops they've put in here. I wonder if once you put the gates down, there's some form of track creator in the game itself or on the console itself. Otherwise, is it just kind of like quickest point between the gates, and they're, for the trailer's sake, making it feel like it's a lot more fun. But they have here, you see the family has just, if we can almost go back,
which is
they
cute.
have covered the edges of the track with numerous paper cups and like paraphernalia. Like, that living room is messed up now. But
it's a very cute idea to do that. I think that's very
totally.
sweet.
There's drink bottles and all that kind of stuff there, which again, that dictates that you can't cut corners and that kind of thing. It looks like from this trailer, there's just the Mario and Luigi one, and all these other characters racing around with you are computer controlled, I'm going to guess.
Yes, there's AI for everyone who isn't there.
Yeah,
and I think how you said about the track creator, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think I remember a part of this trailer where you put down the gates and then you do one drive around, and that drive around is tracked. So you kind of create the course by making
That's clever.
the course, and then so then you which I think is cool, because it also means you can physically do this.
Yeah, and
like,
I think
this is achievable because you did it with the car in the first place, as opposed to doing a bunch of squiggles and then going, this is an uncompletable course.
And then for the game to actually have to draw it out, like if it's got turn cutbacks and things that make no sense. Again, we're poking holes in this because it's such a cute, ambitious, beautiful trailer that if I saw this when I was 12, I would have been frothing about like, this is my life now. I'm just going to be a Mario Kart track designer. And all I ever have had in my life growing up, and most people do, is just been disappointed by toy trailers. It's like they never look and play the way they look. Like Action Man didn't have his own underwater base that he would roll through. He just had my bath, and it was like far less exciting. And so this does look like a trailer that's like, apart from maybe that living room with the hardwood floor, which I don't have, I've got carpet. I hope it works on carpet as well. It
must. If it doesn't work on carpet, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Although that being said, it's Nintendo, so it probably doesn't work on carpet.
The only thing I wanted to note as well is like those cameras on top of them and that view you're getting through the Switch itself. From what we can see in the trailer, like, really good sense of scale, really good like widescreen angle.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like one of those things with a camera attached on it, like let's say the Black Ops RC car that they sold with it. Like when you actually got it, it was just absolutely unwatchable, undrivable. Whereas this looks like you're getting this great forced perspective of being down on the ground. And again, I'm dying to see how this plays in real life and if it can live up to a trailer like this.
Sithcat says carpet is 50cc, wood floors are 100cc.
That's brilliant.
That's a very good joke.
But it's when you're going to get it's all those problems you're going to have in your own house, like going over the carpet to wood floor thing where the car just stops and goes and sits there and you're like, game ruined. So, yeah.
But yeah, that looks, I mean, look, it looks cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, Banjo would absolutely love that, and I probably end up getting it for him. But it's a cool idea. I feel like, but you're so right. The toys never live up to your expectations. I think having bought now a bunch of toys and then remembering toys that I had, things like Lego last forever. Yeah, you can always play with Lego. You always have fun with Lego. Individual toys like a dinosaur that roars and walks or an Action Man or something, you just go, they suck. They have a lifespan. They're a waste of money, and they're never as good as you think they're going to be. Any feature, the best toys are things that don't do anything, and then you do something with them. Totally. Any toy that has a moving part, you just go, this is a piece of shit.
Any toy that has an ad that had its own course, swirl, sound effects, and guy screaming over it saying how good the toy is, no, don't trust it.
Don't trust it at all. All right. Well, let us know what you're excited about for the Nintendo Mario 35th anniversary stuff that's coming out. Something that you aren't excited for if you are a fan of karaoke. Twitch Sings is shutting down on the 1st of January 2021. Twitch has announced the curtain falls, according to Eurogamer, on the karaoke game designed for streamers and built by Rock Band developer Harmonix less than 2 years after it launched in April 2019. Quote, as we look to the future, we've decided to invest in broader tools and services that will help support and grow the entire music community on Twitch, Twitch said in an FAQ. Because of this, we've made the difficult decision to close Twitch Sings on January 1st, 2021. This community has inspired us with their blah, 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 blah. Twitch said it will begin removing Sings videos and clips on the 1st of December, and then on the 1st of January, the game will stop working, a la Nintendo everything these days. All past broadcasts, uploaded videos, highlights, and clips from Twitch Sings will be removed by the 1st of January 2021. But to go out with a bang, Twitch is releasing its backlog of more than 400 new songs for all players.
I mean, I want to know your opinion on this, because we only just kind of came around to understanding what Twitch Sings is when we got to make a show that I don't think you or I knew what this was as a game, as a tool. And then seeing it in actual action was really eye-opening, and thinking like, this is a great game. This is a cool tool. This opens up a platform like Twitch to something that I think is far more engaging and yeah, it has a great sort of way of making the community interact with something that the streamer can do outside of just playing a game. Why do you think this is?
I think it's just money. I think that not enough people are playing it and they can't afford the rights to the songs anymore. I think that's basically what it is. And you see Twitch with music at the moment is very weird, and that I reckon it's costing them a fortune and they're not getting enough profit out of it. For those of you in the chat who don't know what Twitch Sings is, like Gus and I did not before we made some Twitch Sings content for Twitch at the end of last year, it's basically just a karaoke game, but it plugs into it's basically like it's almost like a Twitch plugin where you sing along to a song and it shows you the lyrics, and so you sing along. It films you if you've got your camera on singing, and then puts you in this concert style thing. So you see the guy on the guy on the bottom left is the one playing it right now, and then the guy playing the weird recorder tongue.
It's a kazoo. Come on.
Has recorded part of the song. So all the songs are split into sort of lead vocals and backing vocals, or part one and part two. And so you can record half a song, and then you just scroll through it and pick people that you want to sing with, and then you record your version while they sing, while the video that they have recorded is singing their part, and then it joins it together, and then you've got the song. It's actually super fun. There's a lot of interactivity in terms of like the chat can do things to your song and that kind of thing. And I mean, when we did the stuff for Twitch, Gus, we actually had fun setting up the studio.
That's right.
To be a recording studio.
Oh God, we should have had that clip ready to play now, shouldn't we?
Totally. We just got to keep playing the game.
But you're right. It's the thing. It wasn't just a straight karaoke game. It just wasn't Rock Band or SingStar, on Twitch. The idea was they'd built it, or they designed it in a way that was to bring people together who wanted to duet together. It was a cool way to then meet other people through Twitch, or get to know other streamers at the same time, and then have very clumsy but also really beautiful duets and these fun moments. So again, like coming from a really pure place, well, I'm sure there's money involved as well, but it's like coming from a really great creative place, but obviously hitting that issue of, that drop off, and also those issues with Twitch and music rights have really just like ramped up in the last couple of months. I know as someone who streams as well, it scared me off reading all those articles about people having clips from years back and stuff getting flagged, and then having their 3 strikes and they're gone kind of thing. So I've been curious about how something like Twitch Sings has survived with that, and obviously it's gotten to a point now where it's encroaching and affecting what people have created through that platform.
Well, they would have had to license all this music. Like, there's no way that they weren't paying for this music.
Of course. So, but whether or not enough of those licenses are lapsing, and people are finding themselves in a tricky position that, as you said, comes down to that bottom line. And if they're not making a profit off it, or people aren't playing it like they were, they might need to readjust. Whether or not there's another product that they're going to pivot to. But I love that they're finishing with that. Oh no, I think Pete's found it. That's in the bottom corner.
Hey, there he is.
This is us. I'm so glad there's no audio.
Look at you. Look at you. Where did that boy go?
What am I singing? I'm singing A Whole New World. That's a worry.
A year ago, Gus. That is 1 year ago.
It looks so healthy, but I'm literally in the same grey t-shirt.
I think my Twitter profile picture is me singing
I think it is. But it's you doing the... What?
Chase.
Are you getting audio?
Yep.
I'm not.
Unmute your window.
Oh, no. No. Peter, you bastard. This is going on the internet.
Okay, it's a tradition. Last.
There you go. You son of a bitch. What happened?
Did we just get banned off Twitch?
That's what happens on the show. I did see someone, and it was way up in chat, saying that the way that I described it was, it sounds like it's a bit more complex than straight level entry, jump in and karaoke. Mm-hmm. It says whimsy bobbins, which I think it was pretty straightforward, but it had a very clunky menu system. It was very much, it felt like a bit of a hack. And I think that part of the thing as well is that Twitch, it's in a bit of a weird position because it's not like, it was made by Harmonix, but I don't ever remember seeing it on the side of buses. I don't remember seeing it in a store, so there was no sort of marketing push for it.
I don't remember even hearing about it like in general gaming journalism or like, you know, it might have popped up in a small article or two, but it definitely didn't like come in with a landslide sort of announcement that this is a new thing that people are doing. You just stumble across it through watching that some people were randomly playing. You're right, what is a bit of a clusterfuck of a game and interface, and anything that has to integrate with Twitch has to jump through a lot of hoops so it can integrate the chat, all those menus and stuff like that. Again, really ambitious idea. So I think massive props to it when we first discovered it. It'd been out for a long time. So I hope something like this can come back in another shape, way, or form kind of thing, because I think it's fun to see what the platform or what any streaming platforms can do when they integrate with the game outside of just that sort of passive kind of watching someone play. Things like marbles for streams and this, I think, are cool little experiments, and hopefully they can just come up with better ways to do them.
Yeah, and they do say that they were going to use to invest in broader tools and services that will help support and grow the entire music community on Twitch. If that means that we could just start playing music again on streams, then I will gladly let Twitch Sings be the sacrifice that is needed to be able to get that.
The ghost that we must slaughter just to have, so I can listen to Kesha while I stream.
Absolutely. Well, will you be listening to Kesha when you play Immortals Phoenix Rising?
That's your segue?
Potentially. Yep, there you go. You're just going to have to live with it. According to IGN and according to the Microsoft Store accidental listing, Ubisoft's Immortals Phoenix Rising, previously known as Gods and Monsters, will be released on December 3rd, 2020, at least on Xbox One. The Microsoft Store listing also reveals new screenshots, which you can see here, and some further details for this upcoming grand mythological adventure. The interesting part about this, so like, I mean, at this point, I just feel like this entire game is just getting leaked. Ubisoft won't have anything to say this week when I assume, and they've said they're going to be talking about it. But it says, according to the listing, in Immortals Phoenix Rising, players will become Phoenix, a new winged demigod who is on a quest to save the Greek gods. Phoenix will be able to wield the powers of gods like Achilles' sword and Daedalus. Daedalus' wings to fight enemies and solve puzzles. Iconic mythical beasts, including Cyclops and Medusa, will try to stop you on your journey. You'll have to face them in combat, both in air, on the ground. And Phoenix will also have access to self-guided arrows, telekinesis, and more, which will help her on her journey in this stylized open world across 7 unique regions, each inspired by the gods.
I mean, it's pretty. It's very pretty. But are we looking at a very gamified version of Greek mythology that is just throw everything in? Like, this isn't going to look like it's going to follow any one branch of story. It's creating its own storyline within that realm of fiction and just taking the best parts out of it all. I mean, it's God of War Light or the most recent God of War Light in terms of those.
True.
Those kind of elements from it, which again look beautiful. Whether or not that's going to turn it into a sort of, again, like an Assassin's Creed kind of open world, all these elements that you need to go and find and upgrade and that will open up other parts of the world. But I hope it's going to be a more curated adventure. I think that just I want it to be open world, but I want it to be focused. If that makes any sense.
Well, I think that there is the chance for that. The thing that I did like about this, and also they've changed the art style. It's much less cartoony. It's still bright and poppy, but her face. And first of all, I don't know if it was clear that it was a female character.
The original trailer, you're right, was a bit more
Monsters.
cartoony and a bit more androgynous in the main character, I think.
Where they've given her much more of a human face as opposed to like a cartoon character face, and yet like more a little less sort of simplistic art style, I suppose. But the thing that I like about this is the idea of the 7 worlds that are built around the 7 different myths or gods or whatever, because you're right that you say in saying that it kind of feels like maybe it's a bit of a hodgepodge, but also that is Greek mythology. That is it is actually all these stories interconnect in a way, and that the gods just sort of use the world as their...
They were all sleeping with each other or something, weren't they?
And yeah, they were all sleeping with the horses, and they were all there's actually a phenomenal... So there's a book called Circe, and another book called Song of Achilles, and they're great modern interpretations, or not modern interpretations,
just kind of like
reimagining,
straight line, sort of like they've written in a bit more of a straightforward manner.
Oh yeah, they're written in a modern style, but the beautiful thing about them is that like Circe takes a character that is a side character in these myths and then makes her the main character, and then explores the myths through her lens.
Yeah,
and and when you look at it like that, and you see, instead of these individual stories, like if you were reading sort of Greek mythology, just the tales, then what you actually get is that all these stories inhabit this one world. And so I feel like if that is what this is doing, then that to me is interesting, because those 7 worlds will have some focus to them, and will probably, and also those 7 regions, I have nothing to base this on, but given that that's how they're sort of framing this, it feels like maybe there could be less sort of Assassin's Creed bloat to the idea.
Yeah, the idea of the whole area has everything for you to find. It's like, no, they're going to channel you through these 7 areas that, you know, might have a main antagonist and a new power upgrade, and leads you through that way, which I would love to see as well. You're spot on. The only thing I'll add is that, like, kind of liked that initial art style in the first trailer.
Yeah, so did I.
Also, kind of like the title Gods and Monsters. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Immortals, Phoenix Rising. Immortals worked. Phoenix Rising, I don't know. It's a little bit of that subheader that you see attached to a shit sequel.
Well, we got to see the Phoenix falling first.
That's true.
And so we never saw her fall in the first place. But I do like the look of that, her flying up against that Cyclops. So if we're going for, I'll tell you what, if we're going for a combination of like sort of explore these beautiful worlds and then have a massive Dark Souls difficult boss fight, I'm into that. I think that could be cool.
And hanging those powers on those Greek myths, so they're not just an excuse for a game to say, oh, now you can fly. It's like, no, you've got Daedalus's wings, or I thought it was Perseus, but, or you've got the sword of, I can't think of any of them now. Hercules' sword, or
Achilles.
Achilles shit heels, or something like that. Achilles thongs. It's a cool way to then say, like, you've got they're tied to things that have real world fictional tie-in. So I think that'll be a cool excuse for it.
I love the idea that instead of getting upgrades, you get the very symbolic and on the nose Greek flaws.
Yes.
So you get so the upgrade when you finish the Achilles place is you get Achilles heels.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well now you've got this massive vulnerability.
You have gained hubris.
Exactly. That would be. I love that idea. I love that. So we'll see if that happens. I'll tell you what I don't love. Ads in my video games, and apparently neither does anyone else, because EA added in-game ads to UFC and then have been quickly body slammed. So
body slam, I don't believe is technically a UFC move. There is a line, and they have crossed it here, and I'm glad that, I imagine due to the backlash, this is something they're looking at removing. I don't know. They
are not only looking at removing; they are removing the way that they've done it. EA have now removed the in-game ads from UFC 4. In a statement to Eurogamer, EA said, "Quote: Earlier this week, the team turned on ad placements in EA Sports UFC 4 that appear during the replay moments in gameplay. This type of advertising inventory is not new to the UFC franchise, though we have typically reserved displaying ads to specific main menu tiles or octagon non-logo placement. Quote, "It is abundantly clear from your feedback that integrating ads into the replay and overlay experience is not welcome. The advertisements have been disabled by the team, and we apologize for any disruption to gameplay that players may have experienced." So and then blah, 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 we're sorry, thank you for your continued feedback, buy our next game. But the issue that I have with this, one, I hate the fact that it came in after. I think that's super, that is just sus. But it's not, I know what you're saying about the idea that this is what happens in sport, but the ads that they're putting up are not, what is the word? Like diegetic to the sport. So they're not Under Armour ads, or they're not Nike, like the official sponsors of UFC, whoever they are.
I mean, Toyo tires I'm seeing there, and I'm pretty sure that's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about the Under Armour stuff there, which I think that the body armor, all that stuff that you would see. I'm not sure if this is an example of what it was before, as you said, like an unrelated ad for an Amazon show popped up.
Yeah, well, it's just weird that you would start going, well, this is the stuff this is like the official sponsors of UFC, in the same way that if you play a FIFA game, it would be weird if you didn't see Standard Charter on the Liverpool jersey, because that's what their jerseys look like. But being able to dynamically replace this in a game that you've already paid money for and that also contains microtransactions is just shit, and also is just is something where you go. I guess the only thing I can say is I have a weird respect for EA that they are so brazen with what they do that at least there's one developer out there taking the temperature of the room so that everybody else doesn't have to do it. That EA are like, it's fine. We know that you're all going to buy our sports franchises every year because we're the only ones making these, so you have to buy them. So we're going to try to put ads, like literal ads for TV shows in your game, and if you like it, then every other developer can know that you like it. But if you don't like it, then we'll end up in court in Europe, and we'll end up having to remove all the loot boxes from like the battlefield. And so at least someone is
sure. I just wish it wasn't as invasive of checking the temperature by like ramming a thermometer up our ass. It's like, yes, I wish it was a little more subtle. But I think when you get into sports games, that's when things get tricky, because if you watch a game of sport on the television in any field, it is just going to be absolutely saturated with ads and advertisements and that kind of thing. So why is it suddenly we have this aversion to it when it pops up in a video game? But I think targeting, there is that idea of it. Yeah, if we're watching a game of sport, of any sport on TV, and an ad was targeted directly at you and someone else watching saw a different ad, I think we would have that feeling of like, oh, this doesn't make me feel well, this is Facebook ads. And so maybe it's a little closer to that in a video game than just seeing a TV broadcast.
I mean, I guess a lot of sport on TV is free. UFC, you have to pay for a lot of it. Yeah. And so so obviously you need to pay for that. But I think for me, the difference is that you're playing a game to, in some ways, escape the world. So you don't want to necessarily be advertised to when you're doing that. But the bigger thing is that advertising in sport is something that happens because obviously people love money, but also it's supporting an entire industry. True. And the game and putting out UFC 4, you only need to support the developers and part of the company that is making that game, in theory.
Once you've purchased it, you've done the support, you've given them your money, therefore...
Yeah, you don't need to support the multi-million-dollar contracts of individual fighters or the hundreds of thousands of people that are involved with putting on that broadcast, that entire sport across the world. So I think that's where I'm like, okay, well, that's why there's advertising in sport, because it is incredibly expensive to play, and a bunch of the people who participated are paid millions and millions of dollars a year.
That's a very good point, yeah. Oh, good miss there. Sorry, I shouldn't be watching this now, but it's like, you're right. The idea that any of the money coming from these ads, from that Amazon deal or something, is just the cream on the top for EA. It's like, hey, we can take a little bit more, and I'm sure it's not just a little bit. I'm sure it's a sizable amount when they initially signed that paper with them. So look, maybe for the best not to see it. Again, let's remove that thermometer and let's just keep it in check for now. Yeah. We'll wait for the next, the next big swing from EA or someone similar.
But that being said, how excited are you for season 2 of The Boys? Ooh,
it is everywhere. That is an ad. That is a bit of advertising I've seen across everything at the moment. So clearly there was the marketing department at Amazon was like, this has to infiltrate every part of everyone's lives on the internet.
Totally.
So that's maybe another reason people went like, fuck off the boys.
Yeah, totally. It's just, okay, I've seen it. And particularly because a lot of the people who play video games watch Twitch. Twitch is owned by Amazon. Amazon own Amazon Prime Video. Amazon Prime Video is what made The Boys. So it's like you are going to see this advertising in every aspect of your hobby.
People who clicked on this video probably watched an ad for it before they got to this.
100%. It's probably, I'm sure right now if I went through my tabs, there is an advertisement for The Boys Season 2 somewhere. All right, let's move on now. And talking about games that disappointed but managed to pull it back, Hello Games are working on a huge, ambitious new title that is not a sequel to No Man's Sky. According to IGN, No Man's Sky developer Hello Games has a portion of its team working on a huge, ambitious new project. In an interview with Polygon, so actually according to Polygon, studio founder Sean Murray explained that Hello Games is now made up of 26 people. 3 of those people have been working on the Hello Games short series, like The Last Campfire, which came out a week or 2 ago. Remaining 23 have been split between working on new updates for No Man's Sky and a brand new project, which Murray calls a huge, ambitious game like No Man's Sky, but he also made it clear that it isn't a sequel. Angus, are you here for more Hello Games?
I want to flip that back on you actually and ask you, because you have a far more colourful history with No Man's Sky, with Sean Murray and your because that was right in the middle of Pocket's heyday. Like you were following that week by week, and then you got to play the game. You had impressions on it, but you also are a fan of. Have you played The Last Campfire yet? Because you said
I haven't.
But you were looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I've heard really good things about it. I will play it at some point, sort of like short, bite-sized puzzles.
Yep.
It's got a cool look. So yeah, I will play that.
But where did you land on No Man's Sky in the end of it? After all of this, even to the second or third version they released, that like patch that just really opened it all up. Where did you find yourself?
Next and Beyond?
Yeah.
So I don't play it, but I have played it. I've dipped in and out over the last few years, and I think it's awesome now. I think it's the game that they wanted it to be now. I feel, well, at least my memory of how I was, there's a lot of video of it, so maybe I'm wrong, but my memory is that I was critical of how ambitious they came out talking about it, but I wasn't critical of the fact that that this small team of like 9 people or whatever couldn't execute on that game. I was just just sell the game that you know you're making, not the game you want to make. And that's part of this interview with Polygon that Murray gives, is that he says, it's hard in that situation. If you look back, what would you do differently? And he said it's kind of hard to see that point where that happened, because you want people to be excited about your game. You want there to be a lot of buzz about it. But that comes with a lot of pressure. He ended that interview by saying something along the lines of a lot of opportunities were presented to them, and that the thing that they have learnt from that is that you need to say no to some of them. So I feel like the you need to say no to some of them could have been referring to like he appeared on Conan or Late Night or one of those shows.
He did the one with he did the one I remember it distinctly with Colbert. And they had a build of the game that was kind of fictional, because it did all these things that didn't happen in the real game. It had like Colbert's face landing on all the characters and funny catchphrases. Okay. It was really entertaining to watch, but it was far from what that final product ever was going to be, even now. So yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think that the main lessons that No Man's Sky needed to take were lessons in how to market themselves, as opposed to lessons in how to make a game. Because I think that they ultimately have made a very cool game in No Man's Sky. By all reports, they've made a pretty cool game in this little bite-sized one made by 3 people, this one. And the fact that they're still a team of only 26, that they want to build another big, ambitious idea, I'm so here for that. And I do think that they will have probably learned their lesson about don't overpromise and under-deliver, like under-promise and over-deliver on this one.
Definitely. Look, it's encouraging to know that they've come out the other side of this as well, I think. It's nice to know that they have got a blueprint for something else they're working on, and that they didn't dissolve and it didn't go to, at the middle of that sort of tumultuous period for Hello Games when Sean Murray was a meme and he was copying so much flack. It seemed like
it was bad. It was like they were getting so many death threats.
Yeah.
Their studio got flooded, which even God was angry about the release of that game.
But it gave the impression that he might not come out the other side of this as a continuing games developer. And he's a really creative dude who, like, clearly, it's good to have those lofty expectation that you can create something that ambitious. I love the idea that three people in that studio were like, can we not make a giant universe and just make a I just have this cute little game, and they're like, all right, off you go and make that. But that they've maintained that team who want to build something again. I think it's encouraging at the end of the day, because they'll definitely have learnt their lesson. I hope the audience and the gameplay public like us involved to a degree have like learnt to let people go through that process and just let them create. And even if they do throw out a little bit of that, that here's what they want it to be, that we just temper our expectations as well and go like, you can only make a game so ambitious. But again, we had to come through the other side of the storm for that to happen. So I hope that both sides have learnt their lesson, so to speak.
I don't think our side has learnt that lesson at all. I think our side is if anything worse than we've ever been. But I think his side definitely has. And but it is who was it? Nicrotex in the chat says, the semi-global forgiving of Hello Games is something I find really interesting, which I agree. It's just I think that the reason that they got forgiven is that they ended up making a cool product that people liked, and they also did that thing of like, okay, we're just going to go dark for 6 months and just try to fix our game for you, and then come out and continue to add, like the fact that they added VR and you can play that entire game first person in VR. You go, right, well this feels like the game you promised me. And so
props to them for delivering and like actually following through, because there's I can't think of any direct examples, but there are those ones where people say, look, the game was shaky on launch, but we're going to support it. We're going to fix what was broken. And then it's so much easier to abandon that game, to give it to the next project and say, hey, we just wash our hands of that. So I think, that's how they earned that respect again.
Yeah, agree. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And I do like the fact that they're this small team. I think it's cool that they can have a vision, and with a team that's small, you can execute on that vision. I feel like as long as it's achievable, much easier than if you've got 400 people trying to build a game.
I don't know though. You still see like amazing games that come out and they're like made by one person. So I'm like 23, 20, whatever, 5 in the end. I'm like, if they're all as good as that one person making that one brilliant Toby Fox kind of game, like that's a reasonable sized team these days.
Okay, speaking of massive games, COD is coming very, very soon, and it went live a little too early because a streamer accidentally went live with some gameplay that we can't show you because Activision have just been stripping it from the internet and trying to sort of ping everybody who puts it up. But there was a Black Ops multiplayer like review session or beta something or other, and Doug is Raw accidentally went live on several minutes of the multiplayer VIP escort mission set in Miami before the leak was plugged. It was captured before it could vanish, and we're seeing some of the multiplayer that is popping up in Miami in the 80s. Gus, have you watched that video?
I actually haven't. No, I couldn't find it. I had a look. I couldn't find it directly, but look, I will keep this short.
I'll link it to you right now because it's here.
Fair enough, but I mean, part of me doesn't want to just pour over these minutes, these sort of minor leaks that are going to happen all the way into a lead up to this, where you just basically pick apart really basic things in the game, like, oh, here are some of the weapon loadouts. I think they pointed out a few things to do with like, here's how many attachments you can have on your gun and that sort of stuff, which isn't groundbreaking. It's just those small moments of, here's a few of the menus and systems in play, which are just built up from previous games. I mean, it looks pretty...
So the thing that, because I went on to the COD subreddit, and my God, if you want to see just the worst of humanity, go onto a Call of Duty subreddit. That people are furious with this because they're like, it sounds like cartoony reloads or whatever. And sure, like you're allowed to have your opinions about a video game, whatever. What I like about it, and I encourage you if you're interested to go find the clips yourself, but it definitely looks. The reason I thought that you would like it, Gus, particularly, is it looks like the Miami that we see in movies. There's purple neon and sort of everything looks a little bit wet. Yep. It doesn't look as much like Call of Duty as I expected, which every time I see Call of Duty multiplayer, I'm just like, this could be one of any 4,000 Call of Duty
Which
multiplayer
warehouse
maps
are they in
that
today?
exist. Totally.
Yeah.
Whereas this, at least, if I see this pop up in the rotation of Call of Duty multiplayer, I'm like, oh, fluoro pink and purple and green neon. At least I'm going to know roughly where I am.
This pops, and yeah, it does feel like they've got a slightly stylized, or at least interesting stage, which you're right, especially, I'm trying to think of the maps that stand out, especially but with the last Modern Warfare, you definitely have very gritty, a lot of warehouses, a lot of train yards. It's just that go-to kind of formula for how you build your COD multiplayer maps. So it's always been a history of maps with me of those. There's those couple of standouts. There's the like the villas. There's a boat in one of the Black Opses that just got mad rotation all the time. Nuketown was just, and it's, you know, interpretations of. So it's nice to see maybe a little more character, a little more personality, a little more just, I don't know, just new design thrown into some of these maps, but they're always based off things from the campaign. So that's yeah. I like to think that's why people have been really interested in this as well, because we've seen from the trailer as well, you're doing a lot of stuff on US shores, because that's where, you know, Cold War sleeper agents and stuff's going to happen. So maybe that's an excuse not to be stuck in Russia in a warehouse somewhere. You know, we're going to play levels in or have multiplayer maps based on interesting locales. So look, yeah, that's
going to be. It's going to be people wandering around in white suits, but have the sleeves of the suit jacket pushed up and stuff. That's what I'm here for.
I mean, more 80s, because it's everywhere in pop culture at the moment, and it's not going away fast.
We need to, so I'm ready for all of, well, I'm not going to say die, but I'm ready for most of the people who sort of grew up in the 80s. I mean, like I said, not to die, but to stop making content so that us kids who grew up in the 90s can get our shot of being able to bring back the 90s. Because I have I was born in the 80s, but I was 4 when the 80s ended. So I have no reverence for the 80s. And I'm very overseeing the 80s. And I think it's time to bring back the 90s, which objectively is probably the worst music, the worst fashion, the worst design, the worst everything.
I would argue then you're going to get a COD map where you're wearing flannel in a warehouse of a Nirvana concert, just being like, oh, fuck, I'm back in a warehouse again.
So true. You're back in a warehouse again. I wanted to call out this, but I think it's Pete who said, because it comes to the back pocket channel, which has Call of Duty Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, is he having a the music?
I would do that. Nico Call of Duty Round the Twist crossover. So Legend says, but the Backstreet Boys, Nick. Yes, see, all this stuff is awesome. Captain Planet, this is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So, yeah, there you go. And then the final story we'll end on, I just wanted to touch on this. It's almost more a promotion for this than anything else, but the Supergirl Gamer Pro Esports League goes live with its online finals in October. So the Supergirl Gamer Pro League is a competitive esports series launched in 2017 with the goal of supporting and celebrating women in gaming, and it will wrap up its 2020 season with an online championship weekend in October. The final showdown will put a $30,000 prize pool up for grabs for the top competitors in Hearthstone, CSGO, and League of Legends. And the mission of Supergirl Gamer Pro is to create a safe environment that encourages and empowers women to participate in competitive gaming and to help facilitate a future where women and men have equal opportunities within esports and the gaming industry as a whole, said SGGP Esports Director Amanda Ball. The amount of positive feedback we've received over the last 4 years has proven the need for this platform as more and more women get involved with the mission. And I just wanted to give a shout out to that to remind everyone or inform everyone that is happening.
And how great that that's been going since 2017 as well, like successfully building on it each iteratively, because it's one of those things that you would hope isn't just one of those esport events that runs for a year, has a different spin on it, and then, you know, goes away because it can't sustain itself. But there's obviously, as Amanda was saying, there's a real push for people saying they enjoy this, but they also there's so many people obviously wanting to be involved in it as well that it has the legs to keep going. So I think, yeah, more power to them. That's awesome.
And there's definitely, because as someone who works in esports, there's definitely just an issue with women not feeling like they're welcome, feeling like it's safe to be in esports. It is just, it's weird being around that many guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, you even look at something like Overwatch, which both Overwatch and League of Legends have very high female player bases, comparatively speaking. They seem like games that embrace their female community, but then you look at the Overwatch League and there's still only one female player in the league in total. So it's just it is a bit. And
then for a chance to put a game like Counter-Strike into this, which, as you said, that definitely doesn't have that as large a female player base, but I'm sure there are plenty of female players who are amazing at the game who want to compete, who that is an environment and that's a game that has that sort of toxic masculinity attached to it. That's just,
I'm a white man and I don't want to join the CSGO community in any possible way. Like I am their target market, except for the fact that I'm also not a Nazi. And I don't want to touch that community with a 10-foot pole.
No.
Apologies to everyone who isn't a Nazi and does play CSGO, but I'm sure both of you are watching. All right, well, let's close out the news. That's everything that's kind of worth knowing over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Angus?
Nick?
You go.
No, I was going to say just like a good chunk of news, but also just like I'm still running on the high of that Mario announcement, so I can't wait for that to all peter away and I just start becoming cynical and think, and then I'm going to install it and then I'm just never going to play it. I'll just be like, it just lives on my Switch. So I'm waiting for that. I'm running on a high of that from my Monday, and I'll just see if that sort of slowly fades away over the week.
But I think it's important that you recognize that now.
Yes. As long as we can do...
You're already ahead of that.
We'll do that, and then if we can do a playback with that, I'd love to run you through some Mario 64, show you some of my speed running tricks, that kind of stuff.
That just sounds like, do you want to look at pictures from my holiday? Or let me tell you about this dream I had last night. That feels like look how fast I can go through Mario 64. I do not care at all.
Oh, we're definitely doing that then.
But we have to do it before March.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. If you want to support us, there are three. I'm going to say there are three. Well, actually, there's four ways.
At least three.
Number one, you can subscribe on Twitch right now. And that is the easiest one that you can do because a lot of you probably have Twitch Prime because you want to watch The Boys Season 2. Because
let's plug that Boys.
UFC. Let's plug that. But well, let's not say that. That feels very weird. But if you give us your Twitch Prime sub, then you get to unlock some emotes. There are some more emotes coming on the Twitch page as well. I believe there's some Scardy situations coming, which a lot of people have been asking for. So you give us that. But the best way to go is to go to the Patreon. Patreon.com/backpocket and become a member of this amazing community. Not only do you give us the amazing funds with which we provide you with this amazing content, but also you join an amazing group of people in our Discord, and the chats in there. I was literally up at 1 o'clock this morning talking to people on the Discord in the sports channel, watching one of the greatest Formula One races in the last 30 years. But like, think about the fact that this is a gaming Discord, and the people in there's such a beautiful variety of people there, that there were 10 to 15 people just hammering the sports Discord at 1 a.m. on a Monday morning. And it was just such a race. Argent TV was there. Loki Cat AU was there. It was an incredibly exciting situation.
I love that you have your own little pocket within the Discord of like your sports fans, and then like I can sit just next to you in the creative one where people are putting fan art, and I'm just admiring that. We're talking about like art styles and stuff like that. I don't know where Pete's in his 90s music subreddit or thread or something like that, but we're all in there. And 70s music, sorry. And yeah, we've all got our own little place in there, but hopefully you can join us and get your own little place in the Discord as well.
Find your place too by becoming a patron at the $5 tier or more, and there's a bunch of rewards for people who go higher than that. The third option that you can support us is by just sending us envelopes of cash, and then the fourth option is just by sharing our content with your friends, putting it out on socials, and spreading the word, the good word of Back Pocket. But Gus, do you want to tell the people what they can look forward to this week?
This week we'll be dropping a playback of Struggling, which Nick and I played and had a delightful Scream session playing that cooperative, or what do we come up with? The term you said? You remove the M. Competitive session of that, which was a lot of fun. So that will be going up tomorrow. And then, of course, we'll be doing another one of these somewhat daily backups this Wednesday with a bit more news. And then, of course, the regular Back Pocket Tonight Show will be on Thursday. So don't forget to tune in for that at 8 p.m. We've got a few things in store for that, but I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. So I'm sure we'll come up with it between now and then.
We will indeed. And before that, then you can enjoy a raiding party that we're putting together now because we're going to raid Miss Molly Makes, who is a cooking streamer who is so good. She's just got such a great personality. She's a very enjoyable watch. I would actually like to get her on the show for something.
We should. We should do a cook-along.
We should do a cook along, Angus. Fucking, that's what we should do. So I encourage you to join the rating party and head over to Miss Molly Makes, because she is a very cool streamer who is doing some very cool work there. And she has a very unique way of incorporating her physical kitchen into her special effects.
Primo green screen.
Primo green screen, which is very, very clever. And so let her know that we sent you. All right, we will see you guys on Wednesday morning live for another somewhat daily backup. We'll see you tomorrow for the playback. Until then, Gus, let's back it out.
Back it up.